let's talk about this. We talked about Trump a little bit, but yeah. So Trump has declined to rule out a recession amid tariff effects on the market. So he's holding off on saying if it's going to be a recession or not, right?
Smart.
And we know the stock market is down, a variety of other things. So the next question is, are we bracing ourselves for a recession? And then before we start this too, I do want to, for you revisionists out there, I'm a registered independent.
Oh my God.
Have been.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate. Rashad, before the election, you were so pro-Trump. Why aren't you Trump now?
Yes. So, okay. You know, I really hate to do this, but sometimes you have to. So I am a registered independent, but I just, you know, I just have my opinions. My opinions might not always be right, but they're still my opinions. So yeah, this idea that I've been a MAGA supporter is interesting.
Crazy.
Because if you go to my Instagram, first person that does this will get a Cash App from me personally. You go to my Instagram is Rashad Bilal, RASHAD BILAL. That's my Instagram. Now go to November 5th. You can scroll, might take a couple of seconds, but you can go to November 5th on my Instagram, put in chat what you see. First person that does it will be getting a Cash App from me. Okay. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And now
you voted for Bill Clinton in '96 doesn't mean you're Democratic now. I thought we was Democratic Shields 3 months ago.
That's the interesting
thing. What is it?
Because if you read the comments, very bad, very, 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 very. You would have thought that I was, man.
It hurt
you
your
named
heart.
it. They called me every name in the book. They said how I was a Democratic shield and how I was an embarrassment to the Black community and all of this. All I said, I simply said, this is about the economy, and one person is better for the economy. That was just my opinion. I didn't say that Trump was going to completely crash the whole entire world and he was the worst person in the world. I just felt that out of the choices that we had, he was not the best choice for the economy. So it's interesting when people say like, well, now you're switching course. Now you've always supported Trump your whole life. No, we said that we asked the question, should he be invited to InvestFest? Look, I'm not anti-Trump. I hope he turns this thing around. But I knew that he's irrational. I knew that he flip-flops. And he wasn't good for the economy the last time. That's why he didn't have a second term. People have short-term memories. He wasn't good for the stock market the last time. The only reason why the stock market went up is because they put an unprecedented amount of money into the economy to save it from COVID. And you can argue that the whole COVID thing was his fault to begin with. That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. The point is that what we're not going to do is rewrite history. At no point in time was I ever a MAGA supporter. I actually got crucified for some thought was the opposite. And then the Democrats crucified me because they thought that I was too pro-Trump and I wasn't a supporter of, like, I'm not a political pundit, so it's not my job to actually campaign for somebody. But a lot of the Democratic base thought that I was not vocal enough in my support of the Democrats. So which one is it? You're a Democratic shield or you're a MAGA supporter? I'm neither. But I do think that he was going to be bad for the economy. So far, that's holding true. Okay. That was
I'm very proud of you for activating your Troy joy. Troy, we got to clap it up.
Yeah, I didn't know these things were happening. I can't believe these things are actually happening.
Well, the crazy thing about the internet is, like I said, somebody was like, yo, you guys was talking about how Trump was going to be good for the economy. I said, show me a clip of me saying Trump was good for the economy. I'll buy you a car. They're like, I watched.
Buy somebody a car?
Yeah.
I'll match it.
So they said,
Maybach truck and car. Find a clip.
The response was, I watch enough of you guys to know the sentiment. So you could just think something. The crazy, you could just think something in your mind. Like I said, it's people. I think because we wasn't overly supportive of any candidate, they took that as we are Trump supporters. And then in their mind, they just formulate ideas that, okay, this is, or we might say something good about Trump. If he does something good, I'm gonna say something good about him. So in their mind, it's like you're a Trump supporter because you're not Roland Martin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you haven't crucified Trump. You haven't said like he's the worst person in the world. And you're not pro-Democrats. Like we said, Democrats do dumb shit. They do dumb stuff all the time. So we criticize Democrats. So I guess in that mind, that makes us MAGA supporters. But you can't rewrite history. And it's your job. It's you guys' job to defend us in the comments because
or not.
Because if enough of a narrative starts to formulate, then the actual truth doesn't matter, right? This happens historically. If you just say something over and over and over and over and over again, and enough people believe it, then what actually happened does not actually matter after a certain amount of time. It doesn't matter. So we have to defend the truth at all times. Well, with that being said, are we headed to a recession?
Well,
what's the definition?
2 negative quarters of GDP.
Euro step, right? Interesting enough. A fact: the Treasury has $7 trillion of debt to refinance in 2025, as bond yields are marching higher again. That is a fact. I think if we go by the traditional definition of having 2 negative quarters, we will have a recession. My question is, will they announce it, or will they move the goalposts how they did for the last administration? I don't know. So I don't know what the traditional rules are anymore. If we're going by traditional definition, yes. Will he lead us to one? Probably, because this tariff idea wasn't thought about enough. And like everyone always talks about standing on business. No one thinks about what happens when your opposition team together to stand on business with you for a 30-year period. China's prepared to crash out, and I hate that term even get used so loosely now. But he didn't weigh up all the costs when initiating these tariffs. I know he wants to disassemble the IRS, and we go to a consumption tax model opposed to an income tax model. But when you demolish something, you have to figure out how long is it going to take to construct something new.
Yeah. And how are we going to supplement it? Because are the tariffs are tariffs supposed to be the new supplement if that's replaced? I don't know.
And when you have, I said it before, Jamie Dimon sold off at a certain time. You're getting CEOs selling off at a time. Buffett has a cash pile that we've never seen before. It is for a reason. It's a 1-to-1 ratio of money that he has deployed in the market versus cash he has sitting on the sidelines because he knows something is coming. So when you don't have a clear economic plan, and then you have a sitting president who last election, which Rashad pointed out, you're running on the market being great, and you have a crypto currency that you're now backing through the government, but you making a reserve drops the Bitcoin market. Then you don't care about the market. Oh my God. It's not good. So, and I'm not saying Biden was the best, because I'm one of the few people that is Black that were actively saying before it's popular, he shouldn't be running the country. But when you have a president says that he doesn't care about the market or the economy, and now we're thinking about 100-year terms, how China does, tariffs is the exact opposite of that. It doesn't lead very well for the economy or the stock market. So probability of us in a recession has went up from 18% to 38%, according to bankers. So embrace yourselves.
Yeah. The next couple of weeks will be very indicative of where we're headed. We talked about it last week, but historically, February being one of the worst months to trade, specifically for the S&P over the past 75 years. March, you start to see an uptick, usually around mid-month, and here we are in the mid-month already. Got here pretty fast. And so we'll see. All right. April, historically, this is not just like theory. This is like historical. like has been one of the best months to trade in. And so if we start to see a turnaround here in the next few weeks, that could be promising. But we got to be mindful. Like you said, when you start looking at analysts and you start to see that percentage of what they think a recession, the likelihood of it is, yeah, going up 20% is not something that is very promising. And the sell-offs are important. And we talk about Buffett, but a few weeks ago, we were talking about Alex Karp in terms of Palantir and him selling $1 billion worth of shares.
For sure.
Well, guess what he did last week? He sold off more, right? So now you're talking about a guy who was the CEO of a company has sold 20% of his. He sold 20% of his company in the past 8 weeks. Buffett, we talked about $334 billion. The reason we started the show by saying this is the time when people get wealthy is because this is the time when people get wealthy, right? They're going to pull this thing back. They're going to get some great entry prices, and we're going to see a climb back up to a bull market, right? We haven't hit,
or maybe,
right?
Perhaps. Maybe about what?
That we'll see a bull market. Well, eventually it'll get back.
End of the year will be at 6,400.
Right. If we look at how the market performs, like 80% of the time, it has returned to appreciation.
It'll go back eventually. But
eventually. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying
the idea that this is a short-term pullback.
Well, we don't know.
That could happen, or it could be a bear market.
Yeah, or it could be we haven't hit a negative quarter yet. Like all signs right now, based on where all those indexes are, point to a negative quarter, and that would be the end of March. So like the next 2 weeks, man, will be a very, very important indicator of where we're headed. That would signify the first negative quarter.
So, okay.